We know how much you guys love listening to our stories, but did you know you can also listen to more stories, books, and podcasts on audible.com?
Say what?
Listeners of Storylords might enjoy the comedy sci-fi series Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's about a regular guy named Carl who's thrown into a big old dungeon crawl to save humanity from aliens, which are real. Do your own research.
And I've been listening to the High Republic Star Wars series for months now. And I've been listening to...
I am partial to iRobot
Okay, go, your turn.
because it helps me set my boundaries with organic beings.
I like to read magazines that judge people's decorating tastes. Oh yes, okay, you go. Do they do those?
Audible lets you listen to your favorite series while you're driving or just chilling at home at any speed you want. And there's tons of books and types of literature to choose from. I like the book. That's audibletrial.com/storylords. Sign up for a trial today and help support your boys, the Storylords. Aww.
Story Squires to Story Lords, a prompt-based fiction podcast with 2 prompts, 3 stories, and infinite laughter. I'm Rich, and with me as always is Jeff.
Hello.
And Josh.
I thought we were doing not this today.
What did you
think we were doing today?
Emails part 2, let's go.
No,
We
you
don't
didn't.
have
Next-
any more.
Next
We're fine.
email. Next email.
Dear Storylords, how girl get pregnant? How is Babby formed?
How is Babby formed? Wow, that's like a fucking classic.
Slight disclaimer to everyone: it's so hot in here that two small
How hot is it?
hobbits came in for a ring in this room. So
It's almost like I made a very similar joke earlier.
they didn't hear that, Jeff. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know,
true.
Josh?
I don't remember that, but
This
I'm
week,
already melting, everybody. Disclaimer for something that matters. My AC is out, and it's hot as fuck in my house.
I mean, it matters to you. I don't know if it matters to us.
On a global scale, I think it matters to the environment.
maybe what would help is if you made good Lord of the Rings jokes.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. I'm going to turn over a new leaf right now.
This
A
week,
new leaf of Lothlorien.
Ew.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew that was coming.
This
It's a
week,
bad show.
our prompts were vines and infections. Yeah,
why not?
I've got
all
nothing
been
to say
there.
about that. But
Hit it with the penicillin.
yeah, those sorts of infections are going to come in.
I can't have that. It'll die from it.
Penicillin.
Herpes?
That's what they say, but when we were kids, I'm speaking of to Rich now because we're old as hell. They were just dosing children with like, adult doses of penicillin and being like, "Why are they not handling this very well?" So who fucking knows, right?
Why are they either A, really lethargic all the time, or B, hyper as fuck?
Yeah, what's going on? Wonder why.
Yeah, but then the
Probably ADD. Time to medicate.
all the
Fuck yeah.
like all the medical textbooks and stuff are all based, psychology, whatever, are based on white middle-aged men.
Yeah, one specific.
So you guys are like
sect.
fucking in, then.
I'm okay now. Yeah. I'm
we're in.
just entering our purple patch,
What is that? What is that?
like
mean?
a good patch, like
That's a
good run.
Britishism for sure.
Is purple good?
I mean, I
kingly.
don't look. I'll tell you what. I'll check in the break what it means and where it comes from, where it's derived, and we'll have forgotten by then.
Is it because you dye your pubes purple? Is that why?
The Marge Simpson. Marge
Marge has blue pubes.
Sorry,
thank you.
Patty and Selma.
So the comic book fan comics tell me.
I saw the Playboy. Thank you very much. What a weird time in history that was. Am I right?
I gotta look that up. Great.
Don't know what, if you Google it, it says a run of success or good luck, informal and British. So I'll find out what that is.
Informal and British.
That's how I would describe rich.
That's an oxymoron, really, and which is also half how you would describe me.
This really happened, huh? Marge was in the Playboy, huh?
Yeah.
What the fuck? No one told me.
I had the internet at the time, so Playboy was useless to me. But apparently that did happen.
I think I won like a free subscription to it in college doing something. I think it was when I think because I beat it so much that they just were like, give him a free subscription. Get him some material.
Rich, are you going to take control of this show or not?
I was just letting it roll for a bit. Jeff, you're up first this week. I would like to hear a tale of spookiness and pants-shitting scariness, please.
I guess we'll fucking see, right?
Spookiness and dookiness as well.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, now we're firing on all cylinders, everybody.
Yes,
unfortunately, it's the back one.
Nice.
You may have noticed that we used the same order last time. Stop noticing things.
They didn't notice.
The title of my story is The Candle Cousins in The Ties That Vined.
Hey, we're gonna get so many Vine puns today.
The rain pounded the ground with the force and power that I normally pound your mom with, but the ground was less wet.
Oh!
It had been pouring the rain for only a short while, but the downpour had long since ceased all fun activities on this boring-ass family outing. The Rickenbacker and Hart families had come together in New York City for the weekend to walk way too slow in the middle of the sidewalk, gawk at people different than them, and most of all, spend an entire day wandering aimlessly through Central Park trying to take photos of places where actors delivered their favorite dialogue or maybe kissed their favorite hole.
Oh, boo.
Wait, what?
This, of course, included the youngest daughters of both families, innocent church-brainwashed moppet Peggy Rickenbacker, and her counterpart, tragic poser mall goth Christy Hart, better known by her chosen title of Christiana Blackheart Malaria Blood Wraith. or maybe just Chris. The two of them together were better known to readers aged 9 through 12 and grown adults who spend a notable percentage of their income at Disney World as the Candle Cousins.
Damn, get wrecked.
This blows my dick off. I didn't even get to go to CBGB's, Chris huffed, huddled under the umbrella of an abandoned hot dog cart near a large fountain she hadn't bothered to give a fuck about the name of. The overhead was at least keeping her dry, and her copious amounts of Spencer's Gifts animal-tested black and white makeup from running. Even if it did smell like her older brother's well-hidden single sock.
Oh.
Damn. That's so weird, though.
Oh, we've got a little synergy happening?
So weird. Stop it.
According to their website, CBGB's closed in 2006, Chris. You wouldn't have been able to see it anyway, so that's a little silver lining, like Jesus likes to give. Peggy perkily piped up, ducked under the same umbrella, but not having any sort of disgusting smell connection that made me kind of retch to write. Instead, she had an iPad she had stuck her nose into, her braces gleaming in the unnatural screen light that bathed her freckled features. Trust me, I know everything about counterculture and cool punk stuff, dweebus. That website's probably, like, fake or something. Probably, like, a GeoCities, Chris said, rubbing her arm and looking away, trying to cover her extremely obvious lies.
What year is this?
Anyway, I don't want to spend my whole stupid summer or vacation getting drowned out by sky piss. Where did our stupid family go, anyway? Peggy looked down the cement pathway in both directions, noting that the walkway disappeared behind trees both to the left and the right. She shook her head, suddenly a little worried. I don't actually know. Do you think they got raptured? She paused for a second, then giggled to herself. Well, wait, of course they didn't. I'm still here. Unless you're going to hell, Chris said plainly, walking behind the hot dog cart and looking around it and inside of its empty shell to see if she could find any cash or credit information to lift. Thank you, Crystal. She brought me a sody pop.
Aww.
Where's my sody pop?
Maybe your AC went out, fucker.
Get real, Crystal.
Come on.
Don't tell my wife to get real. Get real. Hey, Crystal, would you shut the door?
Wow.
Thank you.
No girls allowed.
Paradise.
I didn't even tell you guys. I didn't even tell her that you told her to get real. So be thankful. Is all I'm saying.
She heard it.
She said, "I'm right here." Anyway. Unless you're going to hell, Chris said plainly. That's not nice to say. I go to church every day and pray to white Jesus, just like my dad says so. He would never let me go to hell, Peggy yelled out. You probably accidentally said ass, and now you're gonna burn for all eternity. Chris grinned an evil grin. You tried to, say, assistant or something, and tripped on it, and paused between ass and assistant. It means you go to hell forever and suffer forever and ever.
So easy to go to hell.
Also, they didn't know.
Peggy cried out, covering her ears and kneeling down into a crouch to insulate herself from the demons Chris was calling forth by saying ass and wearing pants as a woman.
Damn.
Double hell.
You're such a crybaby. Burning in hell would be sick. I'd probably, kiss Satan. I'm really badass like that. I've kissed at least one boy, Chris said with a self-satisfied smirk. But Peggy was no longer paying attention. Something else had caught her eye. Hey, she started, standing back up to her feet on her butterfly sneakers. Did you see that light coming from down there? Between a large grouping of trees down a small dirt path between them, even as tight as they were together, there was what looked like a concrete slab with a deep, dark crevice beneath it. And
what the fuck?
And deep down beneath the inky blackness, just for a moment, a light shone and was snuffed. 1, 2, 3 times. Then it was gone. What the fuck? Chris said with squinting eyes. Since when was there anything even fucking remotely like this in Central Park in New York City? It's pretty open and the trees aren't that close together at all. Everything is maintained a ton too. It's almost like the writer had never been here before or something. She noted fuckerly.
I knew this was coming.
I bet, Peggy whispered, undaunted by bad writing and even worse self-referentialism. She knelt down and slung her backpack off, digging around inside of it with fervor until she returned as usual with a large green candle on a golden candle holder with a swirly handle. And sure enough, the instant the candle hit open air, it lit with an intense flickering green flame on it, which swayed with the misty breeze. I knew it! There's a spirit down there that needs our help! There's always a spirit, god damn it! Everywhere we go, these ghoul freeloaders expect us to clean up their shitty, dead-ass messes. Why us, huh? I'm trying to have a vacation. Why is spectral socialism always my fucking responsibility? Chris began to ramble, gesticulating wildly. But Peggy had already taken off at a sprint across the pathway, holding the ever-burning candle out in the downpour, which never seemed to touch it. Her parents gotta be cousins, Chris murmured under her breath. She looked both ways down the rain-slicked walkway and then wrenched the oversized umbrella out of the hot dog cart and began to run with it after Peggy, remaining perfectly dry as she went under it.
Damn,
As they approached the huge concrete slab, they realized exactly what it was. An abandoned, overgrown old subway entrance. Overgrown like your mama's abandoned fuckway station, but not even half as stinky.
Oh!
Deteriorated police tape covered the entrance at one point, but now just fluttered loosely in the wind of the storm, leaving the gigantic black hole of an entrance at the end of it of a few broken, disheveled steps wide open, just like your mom.
I thought you were still talking about the fuckway entrance, and I was like, police tape?
It's all the same.
Why does your mom have steps in her vagina?
Take that up with your mom.
For short people.
Oh, you're right.
Grandma said we have a duty to the dearly departed, Chris, Peggy chastised, tutting at her cousin. The candle guides us to those who need help, and it's pointing us down now. Sure enough, the flickering green flame of the candle, despite the wind pushing hard in a completely different direction, was leaning straight towards the subway entrance before them. Grandma died cranking her hog, Peggy. We don't have to do what she says anymore. Chris said flatly. We could totally just be normal preteens of our generation and listen to Christina Aguilera or whatever the fuck you like. Mandy Moore, Peggy said with a soft smile. Jesus, Chris responded.
It's even worse.
Oh, I meant him. I meant Jesus, Peggy shouted, slapping a hand on her mouth at the realization. A bunch of bats flew out of the subway entrance into the sky from the sudden, shrill, sacrilegious scream. Both girls looked at each other in stunned silence for a moment. Our God is an awesome God is my favorite song, though, Peggy said reassuringly.
He reigns from heaven and earth.
I couldn't give a fuck of a shit less, Peggy. I fucking swear to you, Chris responded. Peggy held the candle aloft and began down the stairs, disappearing into the darkness at their bottom without another word. Chris watched in anxious silence, rubbing her arm as she did. A moment or two passed. If she gets decapitated by a bagul, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Ugh. My parents will never let me see Avenged Sevenfold next weekend.
Oh my God.
Chris spat out, gripping onto the huge umbrella and closing it up tight with the spring mechanism on its side, tucking it under her arm like a knight's lance and heading down into the darkness herself. The two of them didn't have to go far. Now illuminated by the sickly green flame of the candle, which is like some kind of like ghost magic or something, it's best not to think about it, I guess.
I wasn't.
But the subway tunnel had obviously collapsed in on itself very near the entrance, just past the turnstiles set up for payment. The walls and ceilings had caved in, creating a small open space at the bottom, and two gigantic walls of stone, concrete, and earth which had piled up in a massive V shape. At the other end of the V was a single shaft of light, filled with heavy raindrops that shone down on the top of a massive section of brick wall turned over on its side. Wow, Tomb Raider without the jagged titties down here, Chris said, genuinely impressed. My mom doesn't let me play that game because she finds artifacts from before 6,000 years ago when God created Earth, and that's not real science, Peggy said casually. Also, a woman does things without a man, which is, ungodly, of course.
Of course,
of
course.
We're doing things without a man right now, dipshit, Chris scoffed. Peggy stood still, rubbing her chin and trying to figure out if she was going to hell for this one or not. This was actually kind of a regular occurrence for her. She eventually decided that because she wasn't marrying age yet, that it was okay, but she would have to consult her parents later to figure out what punishment was necessary for this accidental free will she was exercising.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile,
this is like hitting close to home right now.
Meanwhile, Chris set her gigantic, multicolored, stolen hot dog cart umbrella down in the rubble and began to work her way across the precarious ruins of the station towards where the light was falling in the middle of the room. Wait, where are you going? Peggy called out, snapping to and beginning to follow. The ghost is in the shaft of light. They're always in the shaft of light. We've done this like a dozen times now. Haven't you seen the patterns yet? Chris called back, beginning to scale the debris of the brick wall that ramped up in the middle of the room. Peggy came running after, but was having a lot harder time scaling the brick pit without the military-grade boots that Chris was wearing. Oh, fuck. Gross, Chris groaned out, covering her mouth as she looked down the hole the light was shining into the apex of the ruins. Down below, about 10 or 15 feet, was the desiccated corpse of a human being. Stripped of most of its flesh by water damage, head lulled to the side from a visibly broken neck bone. I found a corpse.
New York City, baby.
I found a corpse. Again. This is totally good for a 13-year-old to experience this often, I bet. That might be the spirit we need to aid in crossing over, Peggy called out excitedly. But in that same moment, the flame of the candle began to burn out of control, as if it had suddenly hit a pocket of methane, lighting up the corners of the destroyed station with its intense burn. As if coordinated, because I'm writing this, the entire unsturdy mess of debris below Chris began to shift and distort, causing her to slip off the edge of the 15-foot pit before her and plunge down out of sight of her cousin with a loud, shrill scream. Chris! Peggy cried out, throwing her hand out towards her cousin with no avail. A moment of silence passed, and Peggy began to climb up the hill of bricks and earth as fast as she could manage, slipping and sliding on the wet debris by pushing herself forward with all her might. But she stopped dead in her place, as Chris began to slowly raise back out of the pit. She hung limp from a curling green and brown fleshy vine, which tightly draped about her neck, lifting her out of the hole slowly and deliberately. Chris gritted her teeth and grasped onto the vine for purchase, but had no choice but to be carried up and up. And following her from the pit, dripping viscous fluid and dangling even more limply than she from a mass of coiling, pulsating vines, was the very same desiccated corpse she had spotted at the bottom just moments before. Its hollow, empty eyes, pouring green-gray ooze down the sunken cheekbones of its face, turned slowly to face Peggy, a writhing mass of plant matter beneath its ribcage, forcing air up and out of its jangling, chittering jaw.
Jangling is a great word.
I am pleased you have come. It has been long since I desecrated life, as I have been desecrated.
It's P. Diddy.
Oh wow, topical.
Poisoned and alone.
The puppet body spoke in a deep, rasping, inhuman cadence, a voice which hurt my throat. And boy was I right, by the way. Coming from somewhere both within and beyond it. Fuck my life, Chris managed to squeeze out, kicking wildly towards the body that all of these vines were emanating from, but being held much too far away. Get this off of me! I've seen this kind of thing on my older brother's laptop before. We're here to help you, Peggy cried out, holding up the green flame of the candle towards the apparition in hopes it would recognize something, anything within it, and release her cousin. Please let her go! There was a moment of silence, as if some kind of recognition was dawning on this creature, but he simply raised another vine, this one long and curved as if a barb at its end, and was dripping an almost glowing green ooze from its tip. And within an instant, it buried deep into Chris's shoulder with a disgusting squelch.
Ugh.
Chris screamed bloody murder, and the thing unraveled its vines, pulling its barb out of her in one motion and flinging her down onto the ground with another one. Chris's body bounced off an earthy hill of matter and landed with a heavy thud on the ground next to Peggy.
You cannot even help yourselves,
the creature hissed out. Chris, Peggy cried, bridging the distance between them and dropping to her knees next to her cousin. Please tell me you're okay, Chris. Fuck my life, Chris groaned out, holding her piercing wound with one hand and incredibly skinned knee of her right leg with the other. We couldn't just go to Coney Island, huh? That wouldn't have made a good fucking story, right? You're okay, Peggy cried out happily. Praise blue-eyed Jesus. I'm not okay, you fucking Bible school bimbo. I got stabbed by a demon and rolled around in a fucking jagged rock field. I hurt like shit, Chris yelled out, then lurched forward suddenly, spitting up some strange-looking greenish bile onto her black shirt. Oh, shit, that's not good either.
Oh, no.
What did you do to her? Peggy screamed out at the creature, which still floated lifelessly over the hole it had crawled up from, its long vines whipping and wriggling here and there.
I poisoned her. I am poison incarnate. The filth and death of the earth has seeped into me for 100 years. I am simply sharing my suffering.
The creature spoke with rasping breaths. Oh no, Peggy winced as she spoke, placing a hand on Chris's wound, which only caused her cousin to groan out in pain. I'm so sorry, I should have listened. We should have just gone to the warehouse where CBGBs used to be. The website was wrong, Chris managed to hoarsely return, her body starting to shake a little. Here! Peggy fumbled with the green candle in her hand and picked up both of Chris's hands, shoving the candle holder into them and resting the bottom of it on her chest. Grandma said this would protect us, that nothing would hurt us as long as we have this. Grandma also said she fucked JFK with an ivory strap on, Peggy, Chris said with a heavy cough.
Yeah, that's not too far out of the realm.
I don't know what that is or means, but Grandma wouldn't lie, Peggy returned.
Cease your blathering,
the creature interrupted, slowly slithering its vines towards the two girls.
I will gift you with but a taste of my suffering.
You? Peggy stood up, turning her back to Chris and putting her body between the monster and her cousin. We came here to help you, to end your suffering, help you get out the other side, like we always do. But you're too blind to see the helpful hand right in front of your face. You're like a rabid dog biting the vet. You stupid little ungrateful. There was a moment of burning rage in her until she finally flung her pointed finger towards the creature and screamed at the top of her lungs, "Asshole!"
Whoa! Straight to hell.
Her voice echoed off the stones around them 1,000,000 times, coming back to her ears like nails on a chalkboard. She covered her mouth and took a step back, eyes wide and trembling. A different kind of fear filled up her heart to bursting suddenly. But the creature was somehow moved. Its vines slowly began to retract, and it hovered there in silence for a moment. All was still in that abandoned, destroyed subway, and then it began to speak.
You are right. I have been blinded by my own pain, obsessed with my own vengeance. I was given a chance to truly be free of it all, and could not see the light before my own eyes. You have given me another chance to...
The sudden javelin of a stolen hot dog vendor's umbrella piercing deep through the ribcage of the desiccated corpse at the center of this being shocked the words out of it and sent it flying back against the wall behind it with a senses-shattering crash of debris, stone, and earth. Peggy shot back around to see that Chris was now standing on her feet, in full Babe Ruth pitching motion after heaving the umbrella, gritting her teeth and staring with fire in her eyes. Suck on that thick-ass realization of fault, fucker, Chris cried out, stooping to pick the green candle back up and holding her hand out towards Peggy with urgency. Come on, we're getting the fuck out of here and going to Coney Island. Chris, you're okay, Peggy cried out with joy, grabbing onto her cousin's hands and being suddenly yanked by it back towards the stairs they had entered with a sprint. But we didn't free the spirit. Fuck the spirit. It stabbed me and flung me around and didn't even have the decency to write a top 20 alternative rock song about feeling bad about it, Chris returned, yanking Peggy back up the stairs as they ran away.
You will not escape me.
The screeching, scratching tone of the creature followed them as its vines began to whip about wildly and with abandon. But that only served to speed up what none of them had foreseen in that moment. A complete cave-in of the last remnants of the subway station, directly on top of the creature as it lunged forth to chase them. It was buried beneath the rubble in a matter of seconds, screeching at the top of its lungs for revenge the entire time. The rain hitting their faces like tiny daggers was suddenly very welcome as they re-emerged into the daylight, breathing heavily. Chris held the candle up, and both girls looked at it, watching the green light of its flame slowly diminish and then disappear into a wisp of thin smoke. Wait, so did we? Peggy said, wide eyes and out of breath. I couldn't give a fuck, honestly, Chris said, shaking her head and standing back up straight. Okay, Peggy said dejectedly, taking the candle back from Chris and stuffing it into her backpack. Well, I'm gonna say we saved the spirit anyway. No one cares, Chris interjected immediately. No one. The two made their way back to the path, Peggy patting Chris on the shoulder as they went. But you're okay. Grandma's candle healed you, or something. She paused, then gasped. Maybe Jesus healed you. Wow. Jesus did heal me, Chris said solemnly, causing Peggy to stop dead in her tracks, all on her face. He actually appeared to me and spoke to me honest words of clarity and salvation. Oh my good golly gosh, you gotta tell me, what did Jesus say to you? Did he save your soul from My Chemical Romance and Satan? Peggy cried out, hands clasped in prayer. Jesus said to me, because you said asshole, you're gonna go to hell forever. And Satan is going to cut your butt off and feed it to 100 demons. Amen. Chris bowed her head and placed her hands together in prayer. Peggy stood stupefied, her mouth wide open, eyes filling with tears, arms drooped at her side. Oh. Now let's go to CBGB's, Chris said with a smirk, traipsing off towards the road, whistling to herself. The end.
What? What were you talking about that you thought this was bad? I thought it was great.
P.S. Yeah, this story did take place both before and after 2006. Want to fucking fight about it? Email me then, bitch. Toonhoundspod@gmail.com.
I'm already writing it.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite Candle Cousin story.
That was the best one. It's fun because like now I don't know. I love how like more of a caricature of themselves.
Yeah,
they
true.
become
They are
every time.
becoming Flanderized as time goes on.
It's so good though.
But
It's so good.
like, you're totally right. When they first started, they were almost like Scooby-Doo characters, and now they're like full-on caricatures of their types. They're so good. Like I can see.
It's like
them.
in Venture Brothers when the boys are just like they're just goofy idiots, and then they become like parodies of that.
I guess you can call it character development if you really squinted at it.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I am praying for the eventual Frankenstein PI Candle Cousins crossover.
Well, you have to pray to Blue-Eyed Jesus to get that. So.
I do
White
every day.
Jesus.
Yeah. You've been praying to like Green-Eyed Jesus? Very rare Jesus.
I like to
The
hedge my
rarest
bets,
of all
though.
eyed Jesuses, actually.
Of I Jesus.
I personally pray to Blue Eyes White Dragon myself.
Yeah, the Jesus of fucking that show. What was it? What's that show?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh's.
I pray
never
to
actually
old
watched that
Blue
show.
Eyes.
I watched like one episode and I was like, yeah, this is fucking
Yeah, me
ass.
neither.
I did want to watch the show. Apparently there's a sequel series where I saw one episode of it where they play Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but they're on fucking motorcycles doing it.
That's dope.
I never ended up watching it, but that's probably the dopest way you could ever do that.
I'd watch that over regular Yu-Gi-Oh without motorcycles. What? Yeah.
You've activated my trap card.
I have never watched it, so I can't make a judgment on it. But I'm sure it is of a kind with all the other shows that it is around.
It's true. It's very
Yu-Gi-Oh's
much
like
of a comic.
12, but he's like 35 also. I don't know.
I was like that.
Remember, this is a John Larroquette fun fact of the week for you on the wrong podcast.
Wrong show.
I do remember I had an issue of Shonen Jump when I was a teenager, and it had like maybe the fifth issue of or like story of Yu-Gi-Oh in it. And Yu-Gi-Oh just starts off murdering people playing non-card games for quite a
that's
while,
good.
apparently.
That's better than the show.
Like, these bullies stole their space at a fair to sell takoyaki, and the bullies are selling takoyaki instead. So, Yugi comes back at night as the Emperor guy and challenges the bully to a game of hockey with an ice puck on the griddle, and inside the ice puck is a vial of nitroglycerin.
This is insane.
He fucking kills the bully, and then they get the space the next day.
This is insane.
He's also dressed as the Joker. He's wearing a Punisher t-shirt.
What the fuck?
They decided to sell a card game instead, I think.
Wow.
And
That's good.
it became a lot less murdery, I think.
I prefer that. I prefer the murdery Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh's going to double hell.
He's
gonna get his butt cut off.
butt's gonna get eaten by 100 demons.
Sounds great.
Damn it.
The Candle Cousins
butt to
will
get cut
return.
off.
They better.
Yes.
That was great. You had no worries there.
Thank you. I wrote it late at night, and everything seems worse about yourself late at night.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
warps. If
yeah,
you do it in one bit as well, it warps your appreciation of the story
Yes,
as well.
I did it all in one go, as always.
Oh, is that what my problem is? Uh-oh.
One go Henderson. That's what we call you.
Yeah.
if you wanna hear-
ADHD or something.
If you want to hear more of me rambling at these two about something, check out in lame man's terms about Donkey Kong that I did for them on patreon.com/storylords.
Somebody on the Discord said it was the funniest podcast of anything
Yeah,
they've ever heard.
they said I'd never played a Donkey Kong game in my life, but it is the funniest podcast I've ever listened to.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
it was-
insane.
informative.
But
It's edutainment is what it is.
But in order to listen to it, you have to be a Henderson or above.
Yeah, you can't be a fucking pen peon. You gotta be a Henderson or above.
Yeah.
Oh, that person who had trouble getting it. This is neither here nor there.
Who be?
It might take a day or two.
I mean,
sometimes
it'll be like a week before he listens to this. So
sometimes it
check
like,
back now.
so you don't like up your pledge and then like immediately lower it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll let him know.
Yeah, that
It
makes
might
sense.
take it. I don't know. It's fucking Discord or not Discord. It's Patreon. They do whatever they want.
We had a lot of fun though. It was a funny podcast.
I'm really excited to hear you guys do your thing and how different it's gonna be.
I'm not gonna be like yours is ripe for like the funny because it's so ridiculous.
Yes.
But like I don't know if I'm gonna. We're just gonna talk. We're just gonna rap.
That's perfectly fine as the thing. Like I did not do the prompt of the podcast.
Yeah.
But I did a funny thing to get people hooked in, hopefully.
That was good. No, it was really good.
I think whatever way gets the information across in the funniest way is right. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever encourages
for me.
discussion. So,
Whatever makes me right.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, boss.
On that note, we are going to take a break and we'll be right back.
It's almost time to lock up the house. And then your party will really begin. I wonder how it'll end.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the music. Why wouldn't you? It's Vidison.
Banger after banger after banger.
Absolutely.
Bang, 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 bang.
We are going to take a hop, skip, and a jump over to Daranos for a tale of debauchery and danger.
Those are 2 Ds, double Ds.
That's why I did it, baby.
That's why you did it. I believe it. I believe that's what.
I believe
why
that's
you did
true.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Sounds real.
Yep.
My episode is called Everything's Gonna Be Fine.
All right, this is a good show.
I told you. The city of Grawl was quiet. Daranos' 2 moons hung above, just waiting for the sun's light to ejaculate its brilliant shine all over the perfectly rounded sky hangers.
Nice.
Dawn was just around the corner. A hobo was trying to auto-fillet himself on the street with limited success. But as they say in Grawl, if you can suck your own peener here, you can suck your own peener anywhere.
Amen.
Keep the dream alive, my friend, and never give up. Shop owners were setting up for the long day of bartering and haggling. Dogs were humping in the alley. They could have been dogmen, but I didn't look too closely. Fool me once, dogmen, shame on you. Fool me twice, not gonna fool me again.
That's a timely reference.
Get a shoe thrown at me. Remember when they threw a shoe at him?
Yeah, 2 shoes.
That was a good time.
Wasn't it a bullet?
Yeah, I know. But one citizen of Grawl was already awake, his day having started much earlier than normal. Mayor Pizza, sir? An aide peeked in through a half-closed doorway. Five more minutes, the mayor grumbled as he rolled over away from the door. Yup. Sir, we have a guest. He refuses to leave and says it's urgent, the aide said. Mayor Pizza looked over his covers at his all-see ball. The time read 4:20 a.m.
Nice.
For the love of Christ, Jeremy, it's not even 5 a.m. yet. The mayor barked from under his blankie. Yes, sir, I'm sorry, but it's fine, I'm up now, for the love of Mamma Mia's gabagoo, the mayor said, springing out of bed.
Boopy de Beppy's in this one.
Boopy de Beppy. Very, very good, sir. I'll put a pot of mud water on, Jeremy said as he trundled down the hall, his bones clattering as quietly as he could keep them. A few minutes later, Mayor Joey Pizza entered his mayoral living room wearing his mayor sash and a smoking jacket with pepperonis all over it like polka dots.
God, I want that.
I'm sure you could get it. There, sitting on the couch, tweaking out more than a Brit who has a special sink installed just so he can instantly make him a hot cup of tea, was Gunk. His leg moved up and down, twitching. He was nervous, or high, or both. Ah, it's you, Mayor Pizza said, almost unsurprised.
Mr. Mayor, I did it. I finally figured it out,
Gunk said, going to stand up. The mayor held out a hand as if to tell him to stay, as he too took a seat. He grunted as he sat. What is it this time, Gunk? Snakes take over the treasury? Dog men marrying cat men? Or is this another rat with a gun sighting? As if that's even possible.
The cryptid of Darren S.
Joey said, rubbing his face.
My detective agency has solved many of those cases, and we'll have you know.
The mayor cut him off. Your company is you in an abandoned building down in the child labor district. You come to me every so often with these kooky tales and never any evidence. Look at you. You're a mess. Why don't... The mayor paused, thinking about how he could say his next thought. Why don't you talk to Sid? The Flamingos still need you.
I don't need no stinking flamingos,
Gunk said, shouting, now fully standing up. He rubbed a purple glowing substance from his mustache.
Oh no.
You need help, Gunk, the mayor said, standing up as well now. He adjusted his sash and stiffened his spine. They will listen to you. They're your friends. And with that, Mayor Pizza began to leave the room. Gunk tossed a vial of flaky gold dust down onto the coffee table that had separated them. Mayor Pizza turned and stared at the small alchemical vial. Gunk noticed how unsurprised he was.
You know what this stuff is, don't you?
Gunk said. In my office, the mayor said quietly. Bring that along. He pointed to the vial and turned to walk out of the room. 3 days later.
So dramatic.
Uncle Steakbeard, Demi called from Maroon. Uncle Mayor Pepperoni Breath is on the all-see ball.
This kid's uncle.
Little Demi, Mayor Pizza's blue visage grinned as he saw Demi's, that's a really bad sentence, as he saw Demi. How's school going? Don't know, Demi said, matter-of-factly eating an apple. Never went. Data girl, Mayor Pizza said with a smile. I never attended a day of school past the third grade, and look at me. I'm the mayor. Ain't America, I mean Darrenos, Grand.
Sigh.
I got it, Demi. You can hang up now, shouted Sid from the bar. Okay, she yelled, but didn't hang up. She quickly picked up a large painting with its eyes cut out and remained quiet. The all-see call, however, entered into a three-way conference chat with each participant having their own little box where their magical image was being projected. So it was now Mayor Pizza at the top, Sid down on the left, and a very, very quiet, sometimes moving painting of a large-breasted opera singer with her eyes shifting back and forth. Sid pretended not to notice. What can we do for you, Mr. Mayor? Sid said knowingly. We have a problem, Sid, the mayor went on. It's about Gunk. Meep! The painting let out a small peep of panic and concern as its eyes grew wider. Who said that? the mayor said, looking around inside the all-see-ball image as if he could see into Sid's side of the conversation. He did not take notice of the painting. Anyway, we got a little problem that needs the Flamingos magic. Your old friend was working for me, and he went missing about 2 days ago. Turns out he stumbled upon some, shall we say, sensitive info, and I haven't seen him since. Sid thought hard and rubbed his chin. You suspect the PODs, he finally asked outright. Nah, not these guys. I actually sent him along with some of the most trusted mooks. I mean men. Sid squinted. He wasn't sure if he believed the mayor, if he believed what the mayor was saying, but so far Mayor Pizza had been surprisingly forthcoming with information and jobs. In Sid's former line of work, that counted for something, even if Joey Pizza was a scum-sucking lowlife who would sell out his own mother for a whiff of cheddar cheese. And now he had an even more untrustworthy occupation. He was the mayor.
Yeah.
That's so true.
All right, I'll get everyone up to speed, Sid said firmly. Oh, hey, Sid, where did you get such a lovely painting? I hope you didn't steal that there from any of the city's art museums. Just kidding, I don't care. How much do you want for it? The painting giggled. 2 days earlier.
Oh, wow. We're really jumping around in this one.
It's like a fucking Chris Nolan story.
Yeah. But better.
Yeah.
And truer. Gunk had the shakes, bad. It had only been a day since he had to curtail his giggle dirt hobby, but he felt like his blood was on fire. That sweet perp could only soothe his pain if he only had a pinch. Ah, you look even worse than you did yesterday, Mayor Pizza said, slapping Gunk hard on the back shoulder. I remember getting gigged on the D pretty hard back in my organizing Crimean refugee fundraiser days, the Mayor Pizza said, swiftly covering his tracks.
Wow, seamless.
The shakes will go away after about 2 days. Oh, thank God, Gunk said, relieved. But then, of course, you gotta worry about piss and diarrhea out of your peanut for another couple of days. Oh, God, Gunk said, feeling sick again. And let's not forget about the spontaneous elbow buttholes. Joey went on.
I guess it is magic powder.
Well, let's get this show on the cobblestones, shall we? He finished with another slap on Gunk's back. All right, boys, the mayor shouted. They were in an unused warehouse down in the Nobody Asked You district, where Joey did some of his more off-the-books deals. Gunk was strapped up in his gear. It barely fit anymore. It was snug around the waist and hung loosely from the biceps. All around him were dozens of PODs. Supposedly these were trustworthy PODs, but it's like my whore mama always says, the only good cop is a dead cop, because at least 40% of them beat their wives and kids, because they know they could get away with it, because they also do the same thing to minorities and just generally anyone they want to.
You know,
they do say that.
My whore mama did say that. Also, that's just the ones that are caught doing it.
Yeah.
That's why I said at least.
Yes.
At least 40%.
Fuck all cops forever.
APAB. Okay. Gunk here is gonna lead you to the site. It's deep within the sewers, so be sure to stuff a bunch of posies into your mask, or whatever dumb thing we believe keeps disease away in this stupid dumb time. The mayor trailed off. How are we gonna know the difference? What with this dirt leading us down there, boss? A lone POD said,
He's
causing
a POD from Philly.
Causing his fellow comrades to laugh. Gunk clenched his fist and swiftly turned around. He grabbed the guy by the throat. He grabbed the guy he thought said what he said by the throat, although he could have been mistaken. He wasn't at his best, but it didn't really actually matter. Gunk lifted the man off with one hand and his mechanical arms as it whizzed inward. Its gears were clenching his fingers tightly around the man's neck. Enough already, enough, Mayor Pizza said. Gunk here found the site, so it's his show. You got a problem with that? Consider yourself on 2-week leave, a.k.a. paid vacation.
No, not paid vacation. How will I beat minorities?
So, interestingly, as well, the reason they do that is mainly so that they can get their pensions sorted out and arranged earlier.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who get put on like 6-month suspension and things like that, and so that they can publicly list a disciplinary, but that is so they can pension them out quicker with an injury or something like that.
That's in England where maybe, I don't know, I think they just do it here because they don't care.
True. They're not going to get caught anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like internal affairs. Anyway, whatever.
The only internal affairs I care about are when me and your mama are together.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Because I come in her.
Yep. Yeah.
The PODs grumbled and murmured to themselves. Vacation? I don't want that, one mumbled. How am I going to abuse my power on vacation? Another grumbled.
Damn, synergy. Synergy.
We get paid to abuse our power and get a vacation? Another one grumbled. 2 days later. So, like, the original 3 days later from the first time we said that. Or something. I don't know.
I'm following.
I'm here.
Sid and Chickpea led the group consisting of Fred, Peppercorn, and Buffcat. The Bigs were in the back like ice hockey for the NES. Chickpea held aloft her staff, which glowed a bright blue light in the darkness of Grawl's ancient sewage system. It was large enough even for Sid to walk through standing up straight, which I guess meant people used to take 7-foot wide shits. The evidence speaks for itself. Do your own research.
Get real, small shits.
Get real small. Get real
real.
anything less than 7 foot wide. Chode shits. It smells like Pep's sock drawer down here. Chick said.
Oh no, synergy.
Yeah. Oh yeah? It smells like Chick's boyfriend's merkin down here.
Oh.
I don't even have a boyfriend yet, she said, turning back to Fred and winking. Probably because it smells like your stupid butt and, like, probably your boobs, too. Shut up! Pep yelled, holding his nose out to him. In his hand was an all-C tracker, an invention he had cobbled together using old all-C balls and various gyroscopes and gizmos he found here and there. It blipped out a small bloop every second or so. Wait, shh, he yelled. Mew, Buffcat said in the back. We're above it. Or it's above us, Pep said, turning the device upside down and then right side up again. Mew, 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 Buffcat said. Chick laughed. I'll have you know I graduated cum louder at Suddenly the floor beneath them began to give way as they slid down a sewage tunnel filled with excrement of a dozen different beings, kind of like your mom's front sewage tunnel after a night out. But instead of excrement, it's more like sexcrement. Am I right?
You're right.
I don't want you to be.
They slid down this tunnel Goonies style for what seemed like just the right amount of time for how much you pay for a ride at Disneyland until they hit the bottom with a thud.
Disneyland.
Each team member, we got Disneyland everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Each team member careening into the last as they reached the bottom. They were covered in feces. Chick gagged and tried to keep herself from vomiting. Buffcat didn't really care since cats like always have poop on their hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Fred just groaned. It wasn't clear if he had hurt himself or he was just not thrilled in general. The sloshing of the human and various other non-human waste products crept along the floor in front of them in front of the crew as it seemed to trickle to a stop upon a golden fibrous mass. Whoa, Pep said as he reached out into the air and grabbed a small, almost dandelion-like floating gold seed. Mask on now, Sid yelled. Quickly, everyone slid on their plague masks and took a deep heaving breaths of sweet-smelling flowers that were stuffed into the nose. Peppercorn had modified his to have 2 cans of meat strapped to the sides and straws going into the nose.
Nice.
Mew, 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 Buffcat mewed. I don't know, Fred said. He lit a torch and held it out past himself to see more of the darkened room. All around was a golden flaky world, a gilded terrarium of vines and spongy, dusty, organic-like masses. Sid placed one foot in front of the other and stepped carefully down onto the dry, grass-like golden ground. It crunched like fresh snow and let out a small puff of golden dust. Peppercorn grabbed a vial and quickly began taking samples. Chickpea walked over to a nearby wall, which was covered in a plant-like golden tendrils. It was like an aquarium down here, but instead of there being a bubbling chest full of treasure and gold, the whole aquarium was gold. What a fucking good writer I am.
That's so evocative.
It's something. It's something. It sure is. She slowly reached out for a viney tendril and stopped herself just short. Is this stuff, like, safe? She turned, asking Sid. Don't know, he said, looking at the same tendrily vine as she had just been. But he did not stop himself. He reached out and gently touched it. Then he gripped it with his massive hand and pulled. It broke free, like a dead branch from a tree limb. As it did, more golden spores exploded outward from within. They calmly floated around looking for purchase on anything and everything. We should not breathe this stuff in, Sid said, turning back around looking at the others. Now that is good advice, said a booming voice from down a huge tunnel in front of them. Each flamingo readied their weapon. Buffcat snicked his metallic claws out while Sid drew socks. Peppercorn held up his all-sea tracker menacingly.
I'm just picturing him holding like 6 crystal balls in his hands.
Yeah, it doesn't even work.
Like David Bowie.
Just making the sound.
David Bowie from The Labyrinth.
Yeah, he's doing the ball. Now, is that any way to treat an old friend? The voice tisked. Flames erupted all around them as sconces on the walls lit up magically. A golden skeleman played a menacing, lilting operatic tune on a golden organ. In front of them was Gunk. He was strung up vertically like he was ready to be drawn and quartered, crucified not on a cross, but by golden vines and writhing, pulsating living gold. Gunk! Chick yelled as she ran toward him, but as she reached the halfway point, a solid magical shield stopped her dead in her tracks as she face-planted into it. Ouch, she said as she rubbed her broken nose. Gunk, what the hell is this? Fred said, dismayed. He can't talk, you idiots! Shot the same voice. From behind Gunk walked out a slender, golden, almost android-like human. He wore 2 golden pistols on his hip and tipped his golden fedora up. His eyes were pearls. They shone right through the flamingos, as many of them recognized them, even though they were replaced with the glowing orbs now. Duncan! Gunk growled. From within his body, more golden vines lashed and grew at an alarming rate. They pierced his lungs and organs and seized his very bones. Chick and Pep breathed heavily, fogging their masks at the sight of their dead friend. Jesus. I am no longer Duncan, the gold automaton said. He has given me new life, new purpose. I am beyond death. I am now Goldie Glocks, he said.
Does he have Glocks?
He said as he spun his twin gilded pistols like a cool cowboy or something.
I thought you were going to do, like, I am not Duncan, I am Guncan. But that's even worse.
That's good too.
Goldie Glocks is way better.
Yeah, by worse, I meant much better.
Much better. Mew, 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 Pumpkin said, tilting his head. Not gonna lie, that name's kinda sick, Fred admitted. Who gave you that name? Chick shouted back. Lil Bo Creep. Little Chicklet Von Peabody, Goldie Glocks sighed. You always did have such a smart mouth. With one swift wrist motion, he shot... With one swift wrist motion, a shot fired and went right through the shield toward Chickpea. She was shocked at the speed. Reflexively, she held out her staff to create her own shield, but didn't know if she could do it in time. She closed her eyes and hoped, but nothing came. No pain, no blood. In front of her stood Peppercorn, standing over her knelt down body. Through him, she could see Duncan smiling.
No!
Through a hole that was now in his chest.
No!
Pep? She cried. He turned slowly and smiled. You still stink, little sister, he said as he smiled, then collapsed dead on the ground. No! Chick whispered, and then she screamed. No! Her rage-tapped magic shattered the shield as it exploded into golden mist of powder. A thick coat of golden metallic dust covered them all. Run, my friends, Gunk managed to eke out as he too collapsed from the pain. To be continued.
No! You're a monster.
You're a monster, man.
Don't blame me. Blame Goldie.
I mean, if you're gonna go, you want to go to someone with a name like Goldilocks, don't you?
I mean, right?
True. Really, I think I'm gonna blame Josh. That's who I'm gonna blame.
Can't.
I don't even have golden glocks.
Well, I mean, that's part of the reason why we're blaming you.
That's
Yeah,
true.
lame as fuck, dude.
I
Just
know.
regular old Glocks.
I just have 2 regular glocks.
That's fucking crazy. What the fuck?
That was great.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I don't know. Is Peppercorn dead? Who even knows?
I kind of
Did say he was dead.
I did say that, but I say a lot of things.
As much as I love Pep, I'm gonna piss off people. I do kind of hope that death sticks. Like, you tend to keep a death.
Why do you feel that way, Murder Man?
Yeah, well, because it gives it gravitas, right? Josh is really good at this stuff. When you think he's like, haha, funny Josh, and then he does something that is really bad in the story, and then, like, not really bad, but really,
That's a
like...
way to put it. Yeah.
He just writes shit. No, I'm joking.
Josh is really good at writing terrible stories.
What I meant was, you pull out something that is, like, heartbreaking, and because it's buried
He's
in
always
jokes...
pulling out something that's breaking my heart.
Yeah, I mean...
But because it's surrounded by jokes, it hits all the harder.
Yeah.
It's like a comic frying pan.
It's like being picked up and thrown down on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, I do remember Duncan's death, although I guess it technically is a different turnout than I thought it was. And that hit me like a fucking freight train. Just like this one did, so he's right. You're good at this.
Well, you got it's the law. It's the Full Metal Alchemist. You got to have equal transaction. One comes back, you got to kill another one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or you got to kill off your whole cast.
Yeah, or kill everyone and just burn it all to the ground.
Yeah,
Why not?
Maybe I should just start killing people a lot. Is that good?
Yeah.
You already do kill a lot of people.
You do kill a
but they
lot of
don't
people.
matter.
I mean, nobody really matters.
No,
right?
true.
You can just kill anyone you want.
You guys
Nobody
matter
cares.
to me.
Yeah, all right.
Wow. Way to bring the podcast up, Jeff.
Wasn't what you were expecting from that, was it? Yeah, all right.
All right.
Calm down,
Right.
you fucking lover.
That was insanely good.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
a big fucking fan of the way this is going right now.
Joey Pizza's got something to do with this, man.
You think?
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
Interesting.
He's a
Well,
scumbag.
yeah.
He sent Grunk down there on purpose. Just
I
quiet
feel like
him.
I feel like Joey Pizza is just too cheesy.
Way to bring the podcast down, Jeff.
Look,
Yeah, all right.
look, he giveth and he taketh away on podcasts.
It's the Josh rule. You can't bring
White
one without
Jesus.
taking something away.
Look, white Jesus giveth and he taketh away. Okay?
And this time you took away your own dignity.
You can't take away what you never had.
He's in the negative now, man.
Oh, right.
Owe the bank so much dignity now.
2 fucking bangers in this episode so far. Will we get 3? See you in a minute.
Wow.
We better.
Welcome back, Squires. Part 3's here, and it's my turn. I will prefix this story by saying I have not had a particularly funny week, and I think it reflects in the story. However...
we can do that?
Yeah. However...
Dance, monkey, dance!
It's here. So... This episode is called Topsoil.
That's not a Vine pun at all. That's
not.
Way to let us down.
Wow, already not good.
Edie McKinnon sat in the waiting room of Bunker 12.
Who?
Edie McKinnon. Certainly not the Technomancer. Sat in the waiting room of Bunker 12, subsection C27, in the same days she had since returning from the surface. It was the same kind of haze we're all in right now, knowing that the world is on the edge of a world war, but being powerless to do anything about it. Sometimes she'd probably wake in the middle of the night, not really knowing why. But don't worry, it's just dread. The unending, slouching towards Bethlehem of dread. Anyway, for Edie and for all of us, shit felt
pretty
fucked.
Yeah, that made me laugh real hard.
Yeah, internally. Funny, huh? The artificial light shone so harshly it even reflected off the matte pastel-painted walls that were intended to calm the visitors down. The room buzzed with the same fluorescent hum you heard everywhere underground, the soundtrack to humanity's final act, cheap lighting and nervous breathing. The walls were painted calm taupe by a committee that clearly never knew what calm was. Edie was
like brown.
Edie was fucked if she knew either. But Edie wasn't sure what she really knew anymore. She hadn't slept. Not properly. Not since the surface. She clasped the potted plant she held like it was her last cigarette before her execution. And for all she knew, it may very well be. It was a clematis, all purple and white prettiness growing from creeping vines, so utterly out of place in the stale air of reinforced concrete and triple-filtered despair.
You say clematis, I say clematis.
Let's call the whole thing Story Lords.
See you next week.
One blossom curled gently towards her cheek, like a caressing finger. She knew she was going to hate this more than all the battery of tests she had undergone on her return from the disease-infested crust, but Major Florian had insisted. She told them she was fine, but for her memory issues. Just disorientated. Not infected, not traumatised, not compromised, no. And they'd nodded and smiled and scheduled a psych evaluation anyway. We, want you to see this doctor in C-section. Florian had passed Edie a small plastic e-chip. Paper or anything derived from the trees was banned in the human settlements for obvious reasons. Edie squinted. Dr. Thea Tallow, the rapist. Therapist, Florian corrected.
It's a classic.
Is there a difference? Edie chuckled. Seems extreme. Seems extreme to send me to a looky-loo, doesn't it? Florian's concern vanished, replaced by the set features of a superior officer, and Edie might not have known much recently, but she knew not to argue with him. Routine, he'd said. Post-op check. Just one course. Orders, Lieutenant. After what seemed like an eternity of waiting, a woman came to the door, with a smile faker than half the tits in those old Hollywood film reels they'd shown in the rec centre. A smile she probably rehearsed in the mirror with a gun to her head. She also had the long gloves on. Well, that confirmed it. The therapist was actually the rapist. Lieutenant McKinnon?
Wow.
So they tell me. Edie stood and entered the office, well aware that the gazer was watching her. Session 1. McKinnon E. Lieutenant. Service number 243122. Tallow's office looked like it had been designed by someone who had never met a human being before. 2 soft chairs placed just far apart to make eye contact extremely uncomfortable, a low table, a phrenology head bust to make her look smart, and a bookcase seemingly carved from the bunker wall. Do you know what a phrenology head is? The one...
Yeah, with the bumps. It's just, like, really, like... That's not a good sign.
No.
Not really.
And a bookcase seemingly carved from the bunker wall, and, of course, the mirror. One-way glass. Standard issue voyeurism. So the top brass were watching their sessions. How wonderful. Please, Tallow gestured. Make yourself comfortable. Uncomfortable?
Right.
You haven't got one of those space hoppers with the dicks on them, have you? I haven't had a good orgasm since before my mission, and I wouldn't normally do it in front of company, but I've been prodded and poked so much since I got back, and not in the good way, that I'm feeling a bit tense. Lieutenant, Dr. Tallow whispered, no humour in her voice. You're a wayfinder, is that correct? Yep, Edie muttered, but before she settled into the chair, she placed the clematis carefully on the table. Its leaves shifted a fraction, as if adjusting to the artificial light. Tallow sat across from her, stylus at the ready, her eyebrows raised at the flower. You brought a plant. It's a gift. I grew him myself from a cutting of my mother's. I call him General Green. A general? He's definitely more competent than most of our superiors. Her eyes flicked to the window, just enough to give them cause to know she suspected they were there, watching her. Tallow made a small, polite noise that technically qualified as a laugh. Don't worry, quarantine cleared it, Edie said flatly. There's no spores, no pollen, no unexpected musical numbers. He's clean, just like I am. You think someone believes you've been compromised? Come now, Doctor. I wouldn't be here on Frasier Live if everyone believed me, would I? Tallow didn't reply. She tapped at her stylus. The silence that followed was professional, measured, probably taught at the academy for uptight white bitches with more influence than brain cells. I read your debrief, Tallow said finally. Very light on detail. You know how it is. Field reports aren't known for their rich narrative arcs. There was no secret love triangle, and I didn't turn out to be a ghost at the end. Didn't you? Edie stirred in her chair. Look, the radiation messed up my memories a bit, but it's unfair of them to just write me off. It's not my fault I can't remember every detail. So, why don't you tell me what you can remember then? Edie leaned back. The sun was too bright, the birds were missing, and there was a distinct lack of coffee shops. You ever notice that? When you don't want one, you're face fucked by a wankercino on every corner. But when you really need some caffeine, when you really need it, you cannot find one for love nor money. Tallow didn't break eye contact. You're being evasive, Lieutenant. I'm being sarcastic. Slightly different skill set, and absolutely not the lowest form of wit.
No, it is not.
Agree.
Tallow.
I also agree.
Tallow waited.
I also agree.
Me too.
Hey, my baby.
Tallow waited, and the clematis shifted again. A slight shake. Edie didn't look at it. It's pointless, she said eventually. You're asking for information that isn't there, just like they did. Tallow sighed and put down the tablet, then proceeded to remove her long brown gloves. An eye was tattooed on the back of each hand. Edie swallowed, an act noticed by Tallow. Oh, you know this symbol then? Good, I won't have to explain what watch ops do. We're not the boogeymen that people would have you believe, though. Edie scoffed. Tell that to my father. Tallow ignored her, but made a mental note. I actually am a therapist, Edie. I help combat vets and those with PTSD. And now, with your permission, I'd like to help you. Edie's eyes flashed to the window again. And I guess if I refuse, you'll let me go back to my daytime stories and forget all this, right? Tallow smiled. Please. Edie leaned forward, feeling Tallow's fingers on her temples before her hands even made contact. "Let's begin," she heard, but Tallow's lips hadn't moved. Memory Probe 1, Wayfinder Recon, Day 1, McKinnon E, Lieutenant, Service Number 243122. The briefing had been identical to the others she and the other 9 Wayfinders had been given for the past year of training. Expect brutal conditions. The climate collapse had made the soil more inhospitable and brutal than I hope Harvey Weinstein's prison cellie is.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
And nothing grew on the surface anymore. After global resources had shrunk and people's bellies didn't follow suit, humanity did what humanity did best: bomb the ever-loving shit out of each other. Then, out of the ashes of the wasteland, infection grew. M98 ripped through 8 billion humans like slightly seasoned food rips through a boomer's colon. And all of a sudden, the world had literally and figuratively shit itself to death. Now there were less than 40,000 humans, all in bunker complexes more cramped than the table at Christmas you don't even want to be at because blood is not thicker than water and no amount of forced traumatic experience is going to make it so.
I like my water that you can chew it.
Edie stood in the ruins of what used to be Providence, or maybe Pittsburgh. What did it really matter anymore? Post-infection cities all looked the same. Skyscrapers like snapped bones, road like gashes deeper than your mother's after a snuggle on the sofa under a scratchy blanket. The sun... What? She likes a snuggle on the sofa. It gets her going. Because that's what counts for romance when you're 50. The sun beat down like your dad did when you didn't hold the torch right.
Oh no. Don't bring that up in your story.
Yeah.
The Wayfinder expeditions were simple. Scan, map, collect samples, watch for enemy activity from other countries, don't get sick from M98 or a splinter, or a particularly handsy nuclear mutant in this deserted landscape. But the place wasn't deserted. Green had returned. Everywhere. Like the earth had flipped the bird to humanity and thrown its lot in for plants. Moss crawled over rusted wreckage, vines strangled twisted steel beams, and flowers bloomed in colours so sickly pretty it was like RuPaul's Drag Race was on a world tour. It was... It was beautiful, vibrant, and unlike anything she'd seen before. It was also the kind of place that screamed, "We don't give a damn about your wars." Edie's boots sank slightly into the soft earth, which was unnervingly alive. Soft, springy, suspiciously welcoming. She readjusted her respirator wearily. The official line was that the infection still lingered in the air, deadly spores ready to kill anyone who dared suck air. But so far, the air smelled cleaner than the underground bunker stench of body odour and military-induced fascism. That made her suspicious. Plants just don't grow through fallout, right? Something wasn't right here. Grabbing a handful of moist earth, which was unnervingly alive, she tapped the chest panel of her suit, checking the readout. No infection markers. None. Not a hint of the biohazards her commanders obsessed over. Her comms crackled. Lieutenant McKinnon, status. She glanced at the twisted vine strangling an old street lamp and tapped her mic. Area 1 is clear, she said flatly, leaving out the part about the jungle takeover. No way was she giving them incomplete reports. Copy that. Proceed with sweep. Edie knew they were watching, listening, always. She'd swallowed down the urge to say more, to admit the surface looked nothing like the death zone they'd been told it was. Instead, she kept her voice steady, cold. Distrust ran too deep in her for her to volunteer anything. A whisper from the trees made her head jerk back over her shoulder, where leaves were moving, disturbed by something. Was it the breeze she hadn't felt, or an animal she knew couldn't exist out here anymore? What had it said? What had she heard? Was it breathe? Weirded out, she checked the readings once more. Nothing. The air was pure. Purer than it had been for 3,000 years, she wagered. She took her breathing apparatus off and sucked in sweet scents of birds and bees getting buck-ass wild, as she had been led to believe.
Yeah!
Even though there
Pollinate that stamen.
Even though there were no birds and bees anymore. The sun still beat down without breeze, a vestige of the climate disaster, but large trees provided a canopy of shade almost as soon as her skin started warming, as if it were following her. She spent the rest of the day exploring the ruins, empty but for the vegetation that had reclaimed every part of the old world. Occasionally she would see the shadow of something humanoid, and shook her head at her isolation-induced paranoia playing tricks on her. The readings were clear. There was no animal life for 200 miles. By the time night fell, she was exhausted, and should have returned to the pod and travelled back to the bunker, but there were questions she still had, some niggling feeling in the back of her head, an itch she just couldn't reach. She set up the tent, and by the time she was finished, the floor around her tent was covered in petals. Edie slept, but not well. She dreamt of her mother, calling her. It felt not like a memory, but a visitation. Her voice, but slower, more melancholy. They forgot us. But love cannot be so forgotten. Session 2, McKinnon E, Lieutenant, service number 243122. The light in the office felt harsher today, or maybe it was the same light, but Edie felt a different person under it. She sat down without being asked, the clematis still on the table from yesterday between them. A silent participant in their conversation. One bloom had curled further, the petals were beginning to spread out. Do you know you're the only Wayfinder who's returned, Edie? Tallow said over her tablet, stylus resting against her chin. 20 years ago, we sent out the Wayfinder mission, and then 10 years after that, we sent out another one. But the first one, we had 5 participants, including my mother, Edie nodded, and none of their expedition returned either, yeah. I'm aware, the years in the Children's Centre really cemented that memory in place, don't worry. You're angry. Edie stirred in her seat. Watch Ops decided my father was a dissenter after reading one stray thought in a random sweep and sent him out to the wastes like some criminal. And Mum probably volunteered for Wayfinder duty to save the man she loved and probably ended up falling down some fucking ravine and dying alone. I'm angry at them. I'm angry at Watch Ops. I'm angry at my superiors. I'm angry at the world. Tallow annoyingly scribbled some notes. You think you were abandoned? That you were left alone? It wasn't a question, it was a statement. Every human being is alone, Doctor, even when they're surrounded, Edie said unblinking, especially when they're surrounded. Tallow observed the plant with the same curiosity she reserved for Edie's eyes. General Green seems to like it here. Edie looked at the flower, then away. He's adapting to captivity, just like the rest of us. The bunker? I mean people. She glanced at Tallow. The ones who pretend they're still living when really they're just not dead yet. Tallow wrote something on her slate. Edie didn't bother asking what. They never let you read your own file. Truth was classified, so were opinions, so were doubt. Tallow removed her gloves without preamble. The eyes on her hands blinked this time, and Edie wasn't sure if that actually happened or if her brain had just started adding special effects to cope. I want to return to your memory, Tallow said. You described greenery, post-fall. That's not consistent with satellite data. Well then, Edie muttered, maybe your satellites are the ones that need therapy. Tallow leaned across the table towards her. Do I have your permission to begin? Edie tensed. She didn't say yes, she never did. Tallow placed her fingers against Edie's temples, and once again her lips didn't move when she said, Let's go back. Memory Probe 2, Wayfinder Recon, Day 4, McKinnon E, Lieutenant, service number 243122. The sun rose fast, like it was late for something. Edie unzipped her tent, her fingers swollen from the heat, or maybe just the unfamiliar feel of dirt under them. She hadn't slept properly again, for the third night. The dreams lingered like a film in her mouth, her mother's voice, calling to her, not just with love, but with some sort of expectation. The jungle had grown thicker overnight. No metaphor, it had actually grown. New vines curled around the support poles of her tent. Wildflowers she didn't have names for now bloomed in the shade of it. The petals shimmered slightly when the wind caught them, if there was any wind, which there definitely wasn't. She stepped barefoot onto the grass. It welcomed her like memory foam. It shouldn't have been warm in the shadow of the tent. Her gear sat on the rock, but as she rifled through her gear, she discovered her comms were dead. No signal, No hum of static on a device that had a charge for 50 years. Not even the buzzing background radiation tick that should have been a constant companion. Just silence. And birdsong. Birds. She looked up. There, perched on the twisted remains of a billboard advertising beans, the post-apocalyptic superfood, were 3 small birds. With bright...
Good thing I bought into beans, big beans.
I mean, the British are fine. They're surviving this apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true.
Bright feathers. Too bright. Like they'd been coloured in by a toddler with no reference for the real world. She raised her wrist scanner, pointed it at the floor of the birds, the air. No data. Error. Invalid environment. Edie. The whisper made her jolt. There again, not in her imagination. Edie took 2 steps towards the sound and the grass gently closed around her footprints. Like it was covering for her. Like it was trying to protect her from something. Or somebody. She followed a path that hadn't been there yesterday. It led between trees taller than the collapse should have allowed. Their trunks were slick and wet and veined, and at their base, fungi bloomed in soft pinkish domes, a reminder that nature didn't forget how to clean up its mess like humanity did. And in the next clearing, she found something that made her gasp so heavily she instinctively reached for her face mask, thinking she couldn't breathe because of something in the air. Turns out it was just something in her own throat. The vines that grew here, choking the remnants of the old world, seemed to converge in this wide open space, where they were thicker than Beyonce after a cheat day. All along...
Oh, yeah!
All along their girth were large green pods, split open and empty. What had they been housing or birthing here? She didn't see the woman until she'd nearly backed into her. Thin, pale, wearing a Wayfinder suit at least 2 generations older than Edie's. Her visor was cracked, her face peaceful, eyes closed like she'd just dozed off during an old movie. Edie reached out, and the woman's eyes snapped open. "Welcome home, my darling," she whispered. Edie could feel her eyes suddenly wet. She reached out. "Mum?" Then the moss under Edie's boots gave way and she was falling. Session 2 continued. Edie jerked upright in the chair, knocking the clematis off the table. Tallow made no move to catch it. The plant hit the floor with a dull thud. One petal detached and fluttered down, landed by Tallow's shoe. Edie breathed heavily. "What was that?" she spat. "That wasn't memory, that was... something else." Tallow was rubbing her head at her temples. When she spoke, her voice was hoarse. I think something happened to you out there, Lieutenant. Something traumatic." "No fucking shit, Doc." Edie stood, her hands shaking. "But you beat it. You came back to us when so many others haven't." Tallow didn't stand. She stared at Edie's trembling fingers. "Lieutenant, are you aware of any ongoing contact since your return?" "Contact with what?" Edie snapped. "Not what, Lieutenant." "Who?" Edie didn't answer. She couldn't. The mirror between Tallow shimmered for half a second. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it was Edie's head again. That special little effects filter. Tallow reached for her gloves. "We're definitely going to need more sessions. I want you to come back again tomorrow." Edie turned to leave but paused at the door. "Doc," she said without looking back. "If the jungle ever talks to you, don't answer it." As Edie left, she noticed Tallow turn to the mirror, a worried look on her face. Session 3. McKinnon E, Lieutenant, Service number 243122. Edie stepped off the elevator into subsection C27 to be welcomed by rifle-wielding soldiers.
Good morning.
Edie held her hands out calmly. "Okay then," she chuckled, shaking her head. They escorted Edie to the next session in restraints. It was mostly for show. She hadn't even fought, didn't even speak as they took her to Tallow's office and threw her in the chair roughly. The same phrenology head stared at her. The mirror watched like it always had, wide-eyed and complicit. General Green still sat on the floor, no one seemingly having time or inclination to remove the mess. Edie smiled. The blossoms had tripled now. Its tendrils curled at the edges of the pot like they were tasting the air. Tallow entered 5 minutes later. No stylus, no tablet, but a new uniform. Less therapist, more command. We're not the boogeymen that people would have you believe, Edie echoed back at her calmly. Tallow swallowed, uncomfortable. I'm not your doctor anymore, Lieutenant. Edie nodded. Congrats, Doc. You've been promoted to full-fledged Nazi now.
Fucking got him.
Tallow was thin-lipped, disturbed by her comment. You're being moved. Section Epsilon is handling your case from now on. Epsilon? Edie raised an eyebrow. The spooky kids. Did I make the big leagues, Doc? Tallow didn't reply. She just took the seat across from her, arms folded. Before I hand you over, I just need to know one thing. Only one? Oh, that's really disappointing. Are you contagious? A beat. The orchid next to her rustled, a sound like old paper turning. I think you may be asking the wrong questions, Edie said softly. Am I? It's not really about transmission. It's about permission? Tallow leaned forward. Explain, Lieutenant. You think this is some sort of infection, Edie said, her voice calm. Some foreign agent. But it really isn't. It's memory. Ours. Everyone we buried under the lies and the mulch. They rooted in the soil, in the network of roots and fungi and spore. And they waited, Doctor. You're not making sense. They're not attacking, Edie said. They're inviting. You lot can't think beyond invasion and fighting, and that's the problem. There is no violence here. Just memory. And if you want to know more... She leant forward, and the soldiers raised their rifles. But Tallow gestured to lower them. She thought for a second and then turned to the window. A few seconds, then the light behind it shone green. Leave us, Tallow ordered the guards, who quickly complied. When they were alone, the doctor removed her long gloves and grabbed Edie's head. Memory Probe 3. Wayfinder Recon. Day 5. McKinnon E. Lieutenant. Service number 243122. The last thing Edie noticed as she opened her eyes was that... The first thing, she noticed as she opened her eyes was the clematis blooming all around her. Edie stood up at the front of an overpass that had collapsed into a cluster of forgotten cars. Nature had reupholstered the rusting metal with lush moss and thickly coiled vines. A warm...
My Pontiac!
It's nature's now, bitch. A warm breeze rolled past, not the scorched wind of a dead planet, but a sigh, humid and alive. You are most welcome here, a voice said from behind her. Edie spun, hand reaching for the sidearm she wasn't supposed to need in a sterile recon zone, but there was no threat. Just her mother. Or some version, some copy of her, dressed in the same outfit she wore the day before she left for the expedition, the last day Edie saw her. Her face soft and worn like an old photo, eyes that could cut you in half with disappointment or stitch you back together with love. Her hands were clean. Too clean. Edie's mouth went dry. You're not her, are you? No, the thing said gently. But you needed someone you'd listen to. The vines around her shifted, rearranged, petals pulsing like lungs. Flowers bloomed in sync with the voice. It was using her, wearing her, and Edie felt her knees buckle as she dropped into a crouch, not out of reverence, but because her legs simply wouldn't hold the truth anymore. This is some sort of M98 delusion, she muttered, bracing herself. Her mother shook her head and laughed. But this is impossible. The thing that looked like her mother knelt beside her. Of course, my darling, all new understanding begins with impossibility. The jungle swelled behind her like it was breathing, and in the rhythm Edie could hear whispers, sounds of nature, the scrape of rebirth. And then she saw them, hundreds of humanoids coming out of the trees.
What the fuck?
I came here on orders. No, you came here because we called you. The thing looked at her with love. Your orders were just noise, my love. Convenient instructions to get you close. Edie's head pounded. She wanted to run, but didn't move. What are you? We're tomorrow. The figure stood now. Her shadow fell over Edie. Not of man, but of life. When the collapse began, when the skies burned and the seas dried, your kind turned to fire and steel. And when your numbers became inconvenient, your government released M98. Not a disease, a solution to an economic problem. No, Edie shook her head. No, that's just not... Truth doesn't care what you believe, Edie. The vines uncoiled and slithered towards her, not to bind, but to show. They parted around a corpse, partially buried, green shoots blooming through its chest like resurrection. Its face was one Edie recognised, her father, and he started breathing. Edie stumbled back. No, this isn't possible. It's already happening. The dead do not stay dead here. They're growing back. We are growing them back. The human genome is a very tenacious root. We're simply helping it flourish again. But this time, without war, without control, crucially without your leaders. Edie backed away, her hands trembled. They killed billions, and we will birth billions more. Edie breathed deeply, her rage at her superiors gone as instantly as it had emerged in her, as her mother placed a hand on hers. Now we offer you a choice, Edie McKinnon. The figure moved closer, her smile gentle. Help us. Help them. The plan is not finished. We need a seed within the system. You're inside. You can speak. They trust you.
General Green.
They won't anymore, Edie whispered. They'll doubt me. They'll imprison me. All the better, it said, and laid a hand on her cheek. It felt like bark and silk. You have nothing left to lose, my child. You can get us deeper. Edie looked down at her chest panel. Still no infection markers. Still no threat. Just her. Her mother passed something to her. General Green blooming silently in the palm of her hand. Session 3 continued. Tallow threw herself back into her chair to distance herself from the vision, gasping for air. The orchid trembled. One blossom uncurled like a yawn. You brought it in, Tallow said, her tone sharp now. You smuggled it through quarantine. I was the quarantine. For a new way to live. Something uncoiled from the pot, and Tallow noticed the thick vines that had penetrated the concrete beneath. It was a pale vine, thin as a finger, snaking across the table with deliberate grace. It touched the base of the mirror, and the room dimmed. Inside the glass, the reflection didn't match the room. Neither did the screams. It bloomed. Behind their mirrored doubles, something enormous pulsed, vines growing like nerves, petals layered like lungs, shapes moved beneath the flowers, human, newly human outlines, vague and flickering, like dreams trying to remember themselves. Tallow stood. Security could be here in 20 seconds. They've already joined us, Edie said. You don't know what you're doing, McKinnon. Oh, believe me, I do, Edie replied, rising with her. You're still thinking like this is a war, like there's a cure. There isn't. From times like these, there's only growth. The mirror rippled, and a petal landed on Tallow's shoulder. She froze. Inside the glass, one of the flickering shapes stepped forward. It looked like her, Tallow, only not. Younger, more vibrant, hair loose. She was smiling. She reached for the Tallow through the glass. No, the doctor whispered, backing away. No, I didn't. I did what I was told. The petal on her shoulder dissolved. A slow trail of moss began to bloom along her collarbone, curling up her neck like ivy drawn to shame. You can't fight it, Edie said, softly now. It's not a monster. It's just a memory. And it forgives us. Tallow screamed until the moss cut her off. The mirror shattered from inside. Not in shards. It peeled like bark. The wall behind it was gone, and in its place, a forest. Not trees, structures made of flower and stem, pulsing with thought. Clematis faces lining the trunks, whispering truths like lullabies. The room was gone too, and Edie walked towards the breach. What do they want? Tallow choked behind her, trembling, one half of her face now traced with bioluminescent veins. Edie turned back just once. A second chance for us all. Epilogue. A child plays in the park. She digs her fingers into the earth, unearthing a patch of soft moss. Beneath it something glimmers. Not gold, not metal. A petal. She lifts it and it unfolds like paper. Inside an image. Her grandmother, younger, laughing. The petal dissolves in her hand. The child looks up with a smile. All around her the flowers are watching. They remember, and they always will. The end.
That was great!
What the fuck?
Yeah, I didn't want to write anything particularly funny. I thought I had an idea and I wanted to go with it.
When are the flowers coming to save us?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Good question.
We're the infection.
That was incredible.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to strip the jokes out. I'm going to submit it somewhere because I really liked it and I wrote it in like 2 hours. It's like fucking 19 pages long. So I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad we didn't ask.
It's like Ray Bradbury-esque.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. That's a
That
big
belongs
compliment.
in like the tattooed man.
I just liked the idea of... So it's very like Alex Garland...
Yeah.
the
Children of Men.
Yeah, Children of Men, but also the Annihilation story.
Yeah.
But like, I just like the idea of like, if we do something shit, then nature can counteract it.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
No, it's cool. It's really I knew Mr.
Yeah, General Green
was gonna have like a. I was like, I know what that is.
Because why would you?
It's Chekhov's General Green.
It's still a tale as old as time. Bring a flower into a therapy session, it's gonna fucking possess you. Everyone knows that.
No, that was like 10 out of 10. That was amazing.
Oh, thanks.
That was great.
I'm a huge fan.
But where were all the fart jokes?
Yeah, sorry about
You
that.
didn't even mention a penis once.
I did mention.
Could you throw in some penises?
I'll throw in twice the penises next time.
All right.
2 times 0, still 0.
Yeah.
Nah, that was
good.
so sick.
Way to be a good writer and make us look like shit.
Yeah, do you not know what this show is like about?
Sometimes, like, I get the urge to just like. So sometimes what I do when I write a story is I will write the story and it will be because I find it really difficult with sci-fi because it's rooted. Nice pun. It's rooted in high concept, right? So then you have to. Then what I have to do is I have to go back and put some of the jokes in. And I liked this so much when I finished it that I was like, I don't want to put too many jokes in.
That's interesting because I do not do that at all. I really think it's interesting that that's how you do it because it doesn't feel like you do that.
Like everything else with this podcast, you guys seem to be on 2 ends of a spectrum and I'm in the fucking middle.
Yeah, we are Spectrum boys.
We're all on the spectrum somewhere. Is what I'm saying.
Spectrum boys.
But like I sometimes will write a story with very little jokes in it and then go back and put all the jokes in it. But most of the time I'm adding little jokes here and there and then go back and add more on top.
Yeah, usually I'm the one I write like jokes and then I'm like, there's no story. I gotta go back and put a story in.
I found it more difficult this season because most of the stories have been standalone. Whereas normally I do a long form story and I center it around the characters and the characters are the jokes.
Well, it's hard to do when you kill all your characters.
That's
true. Technomancer who?
Just
When's he coming back? I don't know.
when is he coming back? When is he?
Yeah, is this even connected? Who knows?
Yeah, this
No.
I like this.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I want to live in the flower domain.
Yeah, me too.
The flower zone.
The flower zone. I want some M83 or whatever it was. That's a band.
M98. I was going to call it M69, and then I was like,
Nice.
no.
Well, M98
Sounds like a road.
M98 is like the government killer thing, right? It's like
Was it? Have I done that accidentally on purpose?
All right.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, M98 is a
M69.
Mauser. Like a rifle.
It's a gun.
M69.
M69.
M420.
That's the road. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. I put jokes in your story.
Thank you.
They were just as bad as the other ones I did.
I had a few. I'd say probably 5, but I just couldn't. I couldn't go through anymore and put them in.
I really applaud your ability to like go like any period of time without like subjecting yourself. Like, I gotta put a fucking joke in. What if they're quiet? What if like I have to sit in my own fucking story by myself?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this with all due respect. British people are used to not laughing at each other because they're the least laughable people on Earth.
Yeah, we don't laugh at a lot of stuff.
When we were there doing jokes and nobody was laughing, I was like, wow, we're bombing so hard right now. But you weren't. I don't even know.
You weren't. They were probably like...
Very clever. Indeed.
Did you get people do this? Like a little soft clap.
I didn't even hear it.
Yeah,
so,
hear it, yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
There we go. That's just me jacking off now.
The people in the audience were having a fucking sensible chuckle, is what was happening.
Sensible.
Also, when you're up on stage doing one of these things, I imagine like the sound of other people's mics is so high that you wouldn't be able to hear anything anyway.
No. You do.
Oh, okay.
You hear it. You hear everything. You hear your heart. You hear... It's like a hyper reality.
You hear Rich beating it in the background.
Yeah, you hear Rich slogging his hog.
I mean, it's so big you could hear it from the other end of the convention centre.
My cat just flipped the fuck out. I don't know what just happened.
How big?
Rich's hog? I gotta go. Gotta go.
It's on a plane right now. Right.
What he did.
3 stories, all of quality. So, without further ado, I probably should have done this before. Let's close the cover on today's episode and bring out prompt whatever. What's it called? Who cares?
It's PromptBot, isn't it?
It was PromptBot.
Sure, it's a robot again.
It's a robot
Prompt
again.
ball.
Prompt ball bot. Right. Our first prompt
MacGuffin
is... Please. Come on, please.
Don't make me
Skyscrapers by... Oh, that would have been good, this one. Gene Berger.
Nice.
How do you spell skyscrapers?
The word sky and then the word scraper.
Is it one word?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one word.
It is one word. And then our second prompt is... Lotteries.
Okay.
Yep. By Respect Me Daddy, who has had a lot of prompts.
I'm beginning to not respect you, Dad.
Skyscrapers.
That's a real big city ass couple of prompts we got there.
New York City!
I just did a story in New York City, damn it.
Luckily,
Skyscrapers, paste picante sauce.
if you heard those and were like, those are too highbrow, where are all the tits and butts? Then you need to head over to patreon.com/storylords. And for as little as $5, you can suggest prompts, get access to the Discord, get access to an episode of Afterlords once a month, and have our respect and love. And then you can, if you want to donate more, you can go to the $10 tier where you get access to 2 other podcasts a month, 2 other sidecasts, or 1 extra long one, and some extra stuff. And then for $25, you get what will be, when we do it in August, our hangout, whatever. We haven't decided on what that's going to be yet, but you get to talk to us.
Oh, yeah. Whoever comes first has to eat the jerk off
cookie. Yeah.
Cookie. I didn't want to say cookie because you say biscuit, so I didn't want to confuse.
Do they call it Ookie Biscuit?
Yeah,
No,
is that what they call it there?
we don't have that.
They call it 11sies.
Are you not a first world country? You don't have Ookie Cookie over there?
You guys don't jerk each other off onto biscuits? Come on.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm glad to be a degenerate and not do that. I just do.
Eyebrow rich over here. I don't jerk off on a
I just jerk off into whatever Rachel cooks so that everyone has to eat it.
Oh, God. Don't think about that too much, anyone. I forgot what my stupid fucking joke was going to be. Horror of that.
I disgusted you out of the joke.
Yeah.
Storylords is also on YouTube. John Anderson uploads them for us. Thank you, John. He's a legend. And he has taken a gap from that recently while he's doing life stuff, but he said he's going to get back on that pretty soon. But there's no rush, dude.
He literally does it for nothing. He could just stop if he wants. It's fine.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to...
We love you.
We love you, John.
Thank you so much.
Big thanks to Vidazen, as always, for the use of his music in the episodes, which he redoes every season. And you can find out anything about Greg at vidazen.card.co. It has tour dates on there, I think, as well. And
we would eat his cookie.
We would definitely. I'd rub it all over my face.
Yes, for the first time. I've never done that.
If you want to find out anything about Storylords or you want to look at the art, you can head over to storylords.page or storylords.card.co. Leave us a review on iTunes if you can. And... yeah, do the Audible thing that we've got going on. What's wrong with you? Just get it done, man.
Do it. It's there in the beginning.
I haven't got a notification saying that that's not active anymore, so I guess go ahead, do it, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So
we've still to this day gotten 5. I'm going to be real with you guys. We've gotten 5 people to sign up for this free trial.
Free trial that actually really helps us.
We are literally more unpopular than even I thought, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty unpopular. That's my secret, Captain America.
I mean, what does really inspire unpopularity is producing 8 to 19-page stories every 2 weeks.
I'll say that I've never written a 19-page story.
That's why I put the lower limit in.
I haven't written a 19-page story for this podcast. Let's put it that way.
No.
I don't think I've ever written 19 pages of any goddamn thing.
So, we'll thank the patrons that are the top tier patrons, as I always do. So, thank you to Henry Roslar, King of Patrons, and Stephen, Concubine of Patrons.
McConkey! McConkey!
Anthony Stoker, Chris Balso, Federico Rodriguez, Gordon Ream, Granola Daniels, Heath Robinson, Jake Anderson, Jonathan Anderson, 2 Andersons, Malonite, Pez King, Rena Kemp, Sean Tabor, Squid Ludwig, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, _patron _only.
Special big thank you to Malonite, who, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have a working Discord right now to be able to record this podcast with you guys. So, big thank you to Malonite.
Thanks, Malonite.
Thanks, Malonite.
And I am going to, against my better judgment, say thank you to V, who has been a member of the Patreon since November 14th, 2022. Thank you, V. We love you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I was only joking about the against my better judgment, so don't DM me.
Rich fucking hates your guts, dude.
But thank you to all the patrons, but especially the higher tier members who are keeping the lights on at whatever place we have decided we record in. A castle, maybe?
Discord?
Yeah, Discord. The lights on in Discord.
We're in like a space castle. I don't know.
Yeah, like
a haunted one.
Like that one the Doomslayer rides around in. That about 4 people got that reference. So, next week, Skyscrapers... and lottery... Yeah, true, yeah. Probably more than 4. Next week, Skyscrapers and Lotteries. Join us then for more Storylord-tastic stories. I didn't try that one out before I did it, but it's staying in now. Don't edit it. Bye.
Don't worry.
Bye, everybody.